joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show for the first time as a Carolina Panther, longtime Minnesota Viking, getting set to fire at the pins at the terrific Edgewood Tahoe Golf Course in South Lake Tahoe for the American Century Championship at Edgewood coming up in a couple of weeks from now in July on NBC and Golf Channel is none other than Adam Thielen. How are you, Adam?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Did you come in fourth in this tournament recently?
I did last year. I was in the final group and kind of had a rough back nine to finish, but had a chance. So it was a lot of fun.
Dude, so you've got some game. You've got a stick, is what you're saying, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing a long time, so I should be good. I love the sport. It's kind of my opportunity in the off season to kind of get away from kind of football and the stress of life and just go out there and hit a little white golf ball and try to make it in a hole. So I love the game. It's such a challenge, and I love to compete. That's my favorite part. So this week in Tahoe, and my wife and I's favorite week of the year, we just get to go unwind and relax kind of before the craziness of the season.
Yeah, but you've got to focus on the golf course if you're this good. You can win this thing. So this is serious when it comes to that.
I'm competitive, so when I get out there, my wife says that I'm a little crazy because I'm up at like 5 a.m. ready to get out on the range and dial in my game and get going. So, I'm making sure every day I at least get some swings in, whether it be downstairs or at the golf course. But it's tough with 3 young kids, so I don't get to play as much, but at least I get out there and hit a little bit with them and try to get dialed in for Tahoe.
You know, it was years and years and years ago, Adam, that I read an article about Dan Marino trying to qualify for the U.S. Open, and he missed it. And a quote that he basically said about it was the concentration level that it was required from him was just something that was off the charts. And I'm like, this is one of the quickest triggers in the history of the NFL. Not just, and that doesn't, as you know, mean that he's, gifted by God with that talent, which he is and was. But it also requires a certain pre-snap concentration level that has to be next to otherworldly as well. And golf was something that was a challenge for him on that front. Is that the same thing for you too? The concentration level is even greater in golf than football, Adam?
That's probably what I love most about the game, and really why I try to challenge myself by playing competitive golf in the off season is because it's really the only way that I can prepare myself mentally for a game. Like it's really difficult to really challenge yourself mentally. Physically you can go and you can train and you can go run routes and you can get in better shape and things like that. But to really challenge your brain mentally in a competitive atmosphere, I just believe that golf is the greatest way to do that. And like you said, it takes such a mental focus and preparation and kind of like that, the ability to forget about the last swing that might have cost you a shot or might have been a beautiful golf swing that put it right down the middle of the fairway, but that ability to kind of lock into that next shot because every shot is so important. And I think that's just something that I really love about the game. And again, it really helps me when I get on the field because I have that same mentality of focus and then kind of if I run a bad route, I slip, I fall, let's get back in the huddle and let's go make the next one great.
Adam Thielen of the Carolina Panthers here on the Rich Eisen Show in advance of the American Century Championship at Edgewood Tahoe Golf Course. Finished fourth in the tournament last year. Let's just start dishing, though. Let's go right for it here. Are you the best stick in the NFL, Adam? Yes or no?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Who would be in the final group with you currently, out of the current NFL players?
Well, that's a good current NFL players. Well, I think there is a few guys that have some serious game.
Who?
I think if you get us all in a competition, I think you got Case Keenum, you got Rodgers, who is the best putter I've ever seen, whether that's a pro golfer or not.
Really?
And so he kind of keeps himself in that conversation because of that. You got some of those kickers. I'm trying to think. I know there's more guys out there. A lot of kickers, some quarterbacks. I think I'm trying to think, but I know there's some good sticks out there that I'm missing. But I'd love to get a little. I mean, that's why Tahoe was so great, right? You kind of get to compete against the best, really, golfers in the sports world, entertainment world. And there's a lot of guys that are addicted to the game, and especially when they get retired, especially those baseball guys. When they're retired, they've already played a bunch of golf. They retire, and that's all they can focus on, and that's really their only outlet to go compete. They get pretty dang good and tough to beat.
Well, you won a championship in high school, Adam, right? And so you're a professional football player, which means you've played some great golf courses as well, and you've been around some terrific players, I'm sure. You're saying Aaron Rodgers is the best putter, the best roller of the golf ball you've ever seen, is what you're saying, for real.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The first time I saw it, I was like, all right, he made some crazy putts. And then literally, I played with him a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
Love playing with him. We try to get out in Tahoe every year. And every single time I play with him, it's like you're in awe of how many putts he makes and how confident he is. I mean, it's not just like 10-footers. It's like 20, 30-footers he's making. And he's got a lot of confidence when he gets on the greens, and he knows that, so he doesn't stress when he's not hitting it great, because he knows as long as he gets it on the green, he'll find a way to make it.
Didn't he bail out DeChambeau in the match, right, or against Phil and Brady, kind of, ish?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, even in the match, I mean, he was lights out on the green.
Yeah, with Mickelson in his grill too. I remember that one a couple of years ago. That was something else. Adam Thielen here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about your current team. So much raving out of your camp about Bryce Young, how he carries himself and how he looks. Give me your first blush ground floor opinion here on that.
Yeah, just excited to get back around him. I think, you just never know what's going to happen. Obviously, first overall pick, with all the hype and all that, that there's going to be a lot of potential, and there's going to be, he's going to have a lot of talent. But I think he just kind of surprised a lot of guys of how prepared he was for the NFL game. And I think sometimes it's hard in those moments because you're in shorts and a T-shirt, right? So you don't want to get too excited about whether that's your team or individually. You don't want to get too excited, in the summer because it's a different game when you put pads on. But at the same time, the way that he moves in the pocket, the way that he adjusts and can get the ball out on time and accurate, and he can make adjustments and things like that, it's impressive. And, again, it gets you excited to get back working together and to really try to start gaining ground. And you just need those reps. I don't care who you are, how talented you are. You just got to have those reps, and those, more reps you get, the more confidence you get. And he's a confident guy, which is exciting to be around.
You got a moment where you sat there, whether it was in the huddle or you're out there running a route or even in the locker room or whatever, where you thought to yourself, okay, this guy gets it. You got a good one for me on that, Adam?
I mean, I think the first moment that sticks out to me is you're watching the film after practice, and you see, obviously in practice as a receiver, you're running your routes, you're trying to get open, you're focused on that, and all you really see is the last, very little bit of the ball, maybe halfway there or a quarter of the way on the way to you. So you don't really see what a quarterback's doing, which is something I love on the day after a game in the NFL season, is you get to go and you actually get to see what these quarterbacks go through to try to find a way to get you the football. Well, I say that to say we're watching film, and, in practice I knew he made a good throw and we completed it, and it was a big play, all that. But then you look at the way that he moves in the pocket and the way that he just very comfortably and confidently, and how easy it was for him to just, basically, manipulate the defensive players and the D linemen to make it a little easier on the O linemen, and then kind of move, and at the same time not taking too much time that in a real game is a sack or a fumble, things like that, to be able to get it out on time and accurate. That's the stuff that it's like, wow, okay, this guy's got a chance. And it gets you, again, excited to get back to work with him.
And, the coaching staff there too, Adam. I mean, it's kind of a who's who in many different ways, from obviously your head coach, Frank Reich, Jim Caldwell on the defensive side, Dom Capers, who was the first coach in the history of Carolina, Deuce Staley, who I love. And then you got Josh McCown, who a lot of people rave about. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. How good can this team be? Coaching staff, you've been around the block. You've got you've seen your teammates up close and personal now for a couple months. What do you got for me there, Adam?
Yeah, I've been very blessed to be a part of this. It's a very special group. I had the honor to talk to the team in a group setting, and Frank, Coach Wright, gave me the opportunity to do that. And I kind of just went down the line of how excited I am and why I'm excited, and the talent and the people. Not only do we have as players, but as coaches and within the organization. I've been around a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players in my 10 years, going on 11, and I kind of just reiterated to these guys of this is a special group, and I've been a part of special groups, but this is a special group that has an opportunity now. At the same time, you can do all the talking you want. Everybody's feeling great in July, in June. It's a great feeling in June and July because you have 0 losses and you have 0 wins, and you got a lot of potential. But I just wanted them to know that how excited I am to come to work every day, to be a part of that group, and then challenge them. What kind of sacrifices are you willing to make now that you know how good we could be? What kind of sacrifices are you willing to make? And depending on those sacrifices and the work you put in is what's going to really help us get to those outcomes that we all want to get to, right? Everybody that walks into that building in every single NFL locker room, whether it be a coach, player, staff member, has one goal in mind. So it makes it very difficult to win games in this league and to ultimately win championships. So, you got to have that in the back of your mind. So with all that being said, lots of potential, lots of excitement within the building, outside of the building. But now we got to go out there and prove it every single day.
Last two for you here, Adam Thielen here on the Rich Eisen Show. Dalvin Cook released by Minnesota. How'd that news hit you?
Well, I kind of figured it was coming, so it wasn't too surprising. But with that being said, one of the best teammates I've ever had. Some people asked about him, that maybe haven't been around him, but that know what type of player he is on the field. And I have nothing but good things to say about him. The worker that he is every single day of practice. There's nobody that's going to outwork Dalvin Cook, whether it's catching a football or somebody else catching football. There's times in practice or in games where I'm catching a football and the first person to be right next to me is Dalvin, finishing downfield, trying to get a block or excited about a play you made and congratulating you. So, he's a special person, a special player, and I would love to compete again with him on my team, but I'm excited to see where he lands, and he's gonna make a big impact. I saw there was an interview maybe yesterday with Dalvin and saying that he's excited just to be able to go out there and not have to worry about his shoulder. He's back fully healthy, not having to worry about that, and that's a scary thing for defenses because he was pretty tough to stop, with a bad shoulder. So I can't even imagine being healthy again and just feeling confident, not having to worry about, if he gets hit, if it's going to pop out, if he's gonna have to miss some games. So he's going to be scary as playing against him.
All right, last one for you. We have a segment here on the show called "What's More Likely," and I'm going to give you 3 choices here. Okay, what's more likely, Adam Thielen? You beat Harrison Smith on the golf course coming up next month. Week 4, you're one-on-one with him some way, shape, or form on the field. You make him miss, or both. What do you got for me?
I think I'm more likely to beat him on the golf course. He's a pretty sure tackler. I don't know how many times in my career I've seen him miss a tackle. I've been able to get him a few times, route running, things like that, and beating him. But there's not anyone better as far as making plays, making it tough on offenses, disguising. But I think I can get him on the golf course. So he's getting there because he's super into it and he's been playing a lot of golf. And I think there's times where he'll beat me on the course, but I think I can still get him in a competitive round.
So he's more stable in one-on-one. You're more stable forward on the golf course coming up. See what I did?
I think so.
Okay. Okay. What's that going to be like for you? Last one, week 4. Minnesota's coming to Carolina. What do you think that's going to be like for you on that day, Adam?
It's going to be emotional. That's for sure. That's an organization, a team that, man, I couldn't have any more love, respect, gratitude. I mean, there's just so many emotions, right? Maybe a little bit of anger mixed in there. So there's just going to be a lot of emotions that day. A lot of people within the organization, players that are still there that, man, I love to death and have so much respect for. So it's going to be a little bit of mixed feelings. And then on top of that, I mean, literally everybody I talk to, everybody I run into in the state of Minnesota says they're coming to that game and they're excited. So there's going to be a lot of people there, a lot of family there, and a lot of people, repping Vikings probably, but 19 jerseys. So it's going to be an emotional day for sure.
Adam, hit him straight. Clearly you don't need me to say it to you, but hit him straight next month. I appreciate the call here. Let's do this a little bit more often. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Would love to. Appreciate you, and we'll talk soon.
You got it. That's Adam Thielen right here, Carolina Panthers wide receiver, getting set to go hit it on the American Century Championship at Edgewood Tahoe Golf Course, South Lake Tahoe. The 34th renewal of Celebrity Golf's most prominent tournament. $6 million has been raised for charities over the life of the tournament. Right there. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.